All right. Is this thing dropping? I don't think so. And I think this can be seen, right? Wait, crap. All right. Oh crap. Damn it. Not what I wanted. Really? I can't go back to the. There we go. Jeez, what's wrong with me, man? Alright. Hold on. I do not actually have control of my life again yet. Crap. Alright, hold on a sec. Alright, wait a minute. Let me edit the stream real quick. Cool. Alright, fine. Alright, Are we working now? It's a little far away. To my liking. Okay. I think it should be fine, really. Forgot how to do this. I literally forgot how streaming works. Do be like that sometimes. Alright, okay. So, with all that out of the way, we're going to do something for SproutFight really, really quickly. Because I saw this earlier in the month and I wanted to do it, but, you know, senior year happened. And what happens during senior years, you just have a lot of shit to do and no time to do it all. Alright, yeah, at the very least, we can get started on one thing here. Okay, so I guess I won't waste any more time and we can get going here. So I'm gonna actually write a little stamp here. Let me write a little note real quick, just so I know where I started. So let's see, started at, what can we call this? Yeah, 809. I've got a couple of ideas actually here for this. And one of the things I want to try doing is making some Bob Ross-esque thing. So what I'm thinking about doing here, I want to see if I can kind of replicate wet on wet on the, whatchamacallit, the good old, this good old thing, the digital art. So let's see, there's a couple of ways we can do it. We're gonna use, first let's prime it with some white pink. I'm gonna try to keep everything within these two color palettes. I like the Forget Me Not and the Lotus Flower. I think it would be really cool. So I think what we would want to start off, since Bob Ross uses oil paintings, we could try going for like oil paint here. Let me see what, let's experiment. Let me experiment with a little bit. What does, I don't think that did anything. Okay. Well, no worries. It's just a matter of what can we do with what can we do with it. So I think what we'll do right off the bat, we're gonna, I'm gonna try to see how I can get started. I want to see like how I can get, I'm trying to think of, I'm gonna try to do like no sketch. It's like a little challenge and I want to get it done in 2 hours, so we'll see. So enough talking. So I have this little thing over in this pink, and let's see here, we're just gonna create a little outline here. All right. Then kind of keeping, I'm gonna try to keep it fairly light. Don't want to be too aggressive with this. Okay, and then okay, so we got the white. Now let's get some dark here, just so we can have it kind of go for the rest of the horizon. Let's see, right over here. Hello there. So there's some people in chat. Yo. Alright, and I think for this sky here, I want to get just enough, and then I want to see what this blender thing does. Is it? Ah, okay, I see. So it blends everything. Okay, so let's see. I want to do just a hint of this. So if we just, I actually am gonna blend, so I'm gonna blend this top over here, and then what I want to do afterwards is that once that's all blended to my liking, I'm going to go blend the bottom and then work my way up to the top. work. Kind of work it around. Keep it like that. I want to keep the original details of the brush though. Okay, so you know, that's not actually bad. I thought this would be a bit of an issue, but I think we're already at a good start here. Okay. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Where do we want to draw next? I think what next? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do something Ross would not typically do. Make a floating island. So let's see, we got a little oil paint here, and we gotta figure out where we want to put this. So if we just put it right around here, I'll sketch it out. There we go. I actually want it to be, I'm trying to minimize the amount of times I press the undo. So let's see, maybe make it a little smaller. Give it a little. Alright. Maybe offset it a little bit. Just so it's somewhere, maybe in the center here. Yeah, it's not bad. We can remove it if we need to. And then we're just gonna create a little. There's a floating island. We'll fill that up with oil paint. Let's just take away. Let's use hard eraser. Nah, use rough. Let's use the rough. Can always blend that later. In fact, we can probably blend it just like so. So next up, we're gonna need some details. The other thing we should probably do is put a sun in here. Where do we want our sun? If it's gonna be yellow, we want it to be maybe right over here. Right over here. And then we're just gonna blend that a bit. Well, actually, we want it to be, actually, now that I think about it, we don't want it to be there. We want it to be where the light is, where all the light is. So, maybe we can try a little effect here. Can have it kind of go into here, then it will show the sheen. There'll be a lot of backlight. There'll be a lot of backlight here, but I think we can find a way to we can do some trickery over here to make it look consistent. Where's that blender brush? Yep, just, right. I'm gonna take a loader and blend that in. want to take too much. I don't want to blend too much because I want to keep the overall structure of the sun intact. So maybe blend out a little bit. Kind of blend it in a circle and then blend it out. Alright, and then, alright, so going back to this floating mountain, let's see what we can do here. Let's take this brush over here. Let's see what we can do. We can add a little highlight in here. Have it kind of look back at the thing for a bit. So we got that. Can I have it evacuate to the front a bit? Maybe have some consistency in a way. We got a little fading corner. Alright, hold on. Thanks for the heads up. Now I want to actually I'm actually going to break the palette a little bit. What's this? Yeah, this is pure black. You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to instead do this. I'm going to try to stay as faithful to the palette as possible. In order to do that, I have to get a little bit creative. Let's go back to this blue here. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to have it extend throughout the rest of the painting. We can add textures. We can always add textures, some rocky textures if we need to. I think we're gonna be fine with just drawing it by hand. So then this becomes a shadow in a way. I'm gonna go a little crazy here. Okay, so we got that. Now we just need to make a little thing here for it. We're gonna make it really bright. But we're also, the thing is that we're gonna create, I don't want to do too much of the blue because we're gonna use some green over here. There will be some greenery when everything's all said and done here. So I want to be a little hesitant about overloading this with blue. Let's see, just enough for some highlights. Maybe some of that. Just kind of put it out like that. Just gonna do some tapping here. Some more tapping here. And some more tapping there. Alright. Yeah, it's a rock. Let's put some land in here. Let's throw a little bit of land just so we know it's a little fantasy here. So we're gonna take the larger one. We're just gonna go over it a bit. Just put some grass right in between. And then for the darker, we're just gonna kind of lower it, add some highlight here. And then here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to, let's get a little creative here. I'm gonna try to do some, I don't think pointillism is gonna work. I don't think blending is gonna work. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take some eraser. We're gonna take this kneaded eraser. Go to the, there's oil paint, yeah, oil paint. And we're just gonna do some we're gonna take the kneaded eraser. Just erase some portions of it. To have some texture with it. So we're just gonna add more texture to this rock. Okay, and then back to the brush here. Just gonna place this with our flat brush. And then I'm also going to take these lines here, make sure we can get it somewhat looking good. Alright, I'm actually kind of liking this right so far. Let's see. Maybe put some, here's what we're going to do. Let's put some trees in here. We're going to do some interesting trees here today. Let's put a vector in here, or yeah, we can put a vector in here. Why not? This is where the Bob Ross style ends and my style begins, albeit with a lot less layers. So let's see, if we were to put one, shoot it up right there. Alright, so there's a tree over here, lives right there. We'll have a secondary tree that lives about over here. And let's see here. Without doing too much, I'm gonna go for the lower setting. And then like that's going. Alright, so then we can have these deviations here. Have that be the branches. That's a branch there. Boom. And then right over there, we're just gonna let's make one more tree. Why not? Let's try for a more Bob Ross looking tree. There we go. A little bit of that action. I am gonna do some editing real quick. I'm kind of subscribed to the idea of building off of existing things. Okay, so I kind of like where this is going. Maybe we can put some leaves in here. Let's say it's cherry blossom. Let's see. Let's throw some pointillism. Let's see what this does. Maybe we can try to do something different. Let's see. Particle size. My bad. Particle density. That. Okay, maybe go a little. No, that's just not too much. That's not gonna work. Ooh, I actually like this a little better. I want to have all the paint possible because I want to have it be thick in a way. Well, not too thick. I'm gonna say 85 should be fine. Shut up. Let's see if it'll work real quick. Let's try a little. Not sure how I should approach this. Let's see, what if we did... No. I kind of like them as it is, really. What if I just did... What if I did something like this? Ooh, okay. Actually, we might be onto something here. So, I'll bet that into the mix. How do we meet that? Make that the color here. Let me throw some clouds in here, why not? I do want to eventually add some highlights to it though, that's the thing. Alright, we can try that and then blend it just a touch. Okay. I actually kind of like having this be its own layer so we don't have any kind of interference with the sun. We're in a theory we're making our own clouds at this point, so why not? Why not? Alright, blend it. Alright, let's blend it. I like where this is going. Maybe if I get a hint of the opacity just a touch. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. It's coming together. Slowly but surely. Alright. I guess if I'm gonna leave these bare, I might as well put some highlight on it. Just to show that there's bark. I want to be a little subtle. I want to kind of be more focused on the light source. That's the sun. Alright. That's already a good start. Maybe, alright, maybe, yeah, actually I kind of like, no, I'm gonna do a little bit of an offset off to the side. Actually, I think it was perfect as it is. It was perfect. Nothing wrong with a little bit of imperfection every now and then. Alright, now one thing I want to try actually is a little waterfall. But let me get this looking a bit more refined. Okay. Let's see. I want to create a little waterfall off to the side, which will represent a pool, and then yeah, make the little thing here. And then maybe create some rocks over in here, but we can worry about that later. Let's see, what's a good color? What's something we haven't used in a while? Alright, we can try this. We can try the oil paint again. Let's see. Okay, cool. If we were to make a little, we need to make a little reservoir here. That's a little reservoir. And it's just gonna flow like so. I hit it with the kneaded eraser a little bit. Can always edit a little later. No big deal. We're just gonna let the water do the work here. This will be a perfect place for us to put the water. Have it stretched down. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, and then from here we can kind of put a little spot for maybe if we were to yeah, I kind of like that. Really, is just have it like that, just kind of pouring out. That makes sense. Use a little eraser there. Yeah. All right. This is looking good. This is looking good. All right. Looking good. All right. Next up is the water. This time around, I'm gonna. Let's see. What have we haven't used yet? What's this brush? Okay, I don't mind that. Just gonna make a little water source here. Okay, and then since we can designate one in the sky here, we can put like we can put just a tiny bit of highlight color just to have it sit the horizon, and then blend it a little bit, but with a bit more focus on the pink rather than the blue. There we go. I want to actually add a little sheen over to this little waterfall, so we're just gonna add a little dry gouache. Let it kind of shimmer on its way down, and then on the way down it will be a little darker. So let's see. And then picking up the intensity. like so. And then what I'm gonna do here next, I want to add a little shadow. Because let's say this is hovering, and this island is hovering in a way. I'm gonna put this down a little bit. Not bad. Not the end of the world. We can always blend it a little bit more over in here. Or hold on. Let's I kind of like this little change from the pink to the blue here near the water. I find that quite nice. Alright, so next up, let's create a little effect here with the shadow here. Just gonna have it, oh, and a biggie. Just gonna blend it just a touch. We want to pick up the colors but still have it be recognized as a shadow. Something like that. And then try blending it again. Oh, that's not good. No worries. Let's try to get really close to the thing here. And then maybe throw in a little bit of, I want to throw in a little bit of blue here. Kind of near the side to where the light is going. So we hit that a little bit. And then blend it. Let's see. Yep. Just like that. Just like that. Alright, so now I want to add, I was thinking about adding some mountains, but I don't think that's necessary. Maybe if I try adding some pink mountains, it won't disrupt it. I want to keep everything with consistent here. Oh, yeah, that actually might work out. So let's see. This mountain lives over here. This mountain lives over here. And his brother over here kind of just goes out in the distance. So, I'm just going to put it right over here. Have it fill it out. And then with this brush, we're going to kind of add some highlights in a way. let's see. There's gotta be another way to do this here. So let's see, if we were to follow the line of just put it right over here. There we go. That's more stuff. Let's throw in highlight color. Kind of like this. Alright, so here's what we're going to do next, is then we take, kind of extend this little touch, kind of up to here. Alright, then we can just try some blending real quick. We are having some issues with this. Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna try. Well, I don't want to do mix. I don't want to. I want to again stay truthful to the palette. Maybe here's what I'm gonna do. Actually, we're gonna have this extend. There we go. Look at that. Problem solved. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of my life as an engineer. Solving problems on the fly since God knows when. Alright, I'm liking where this is going. I'm really liking where this is going. I've been working on this for about 50 minutes. Holy shit. 45 minutes in a way. If I can, it's funny when I can make stuff like this on the fly in an hour. And yet I sometimes I take way too long with stuff like this. Like, what? I guess like as we take, I'm gonna take like a little brain break in a way. Let me first save this. I wanna show you a little something. This redesign is still incomplete, but it is like hours, like almost 20 hours of work. It may just because like it depends on like really how much, I don't know. I think the longer I take on something, when you do more of it, you want to have like more, there's like a whole lot of attention to detail with it or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to this over here. Now we have created the waters. We've created the island, created the trees, the water source, mountains, sky, and such. Now it's time to introduce some greenery in here. We're gonna create a little cliffside here. We're gonna use a textured brush this time around. I'm gonna try this little thick oil paint here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try this thick oil paint. Yeah, we can use the canvas. Or no, I want to actually use oil paint. What do I want to do? Yeah, oil paint. Just go mean brush and just sort of excuse me. The allergies are killing me. Well, they're not killing me. Doesn't kill me, it makes me stronger. So let's see. I don't like that. Let me see. The angle's it's a little too steep of an angle for my liking. Let me try something here. Oh shit, wrong. I put it on the wrong. Fuck, I put it on the wrong layer. No. Oh well. I find it funny that I've only made like 10 layers of this. Like, I'm quite impressed. Like a little challenge in a way. Let's see. What was the oil brush when you used that? The thick oil paint? Alright. This is where I'm looking to have it on. So then we can kind of move it in a way, like so. And then what I want to do here is create a little splash effect with some pointillism. Right about there. Alright, so now we gotta make another important decision here. We need to figure out how we want to do this land. So we can probably put a couple of trees in here. I want to put some trees and shrubbery in here. Let's see here. I'm gonna take some pointillism. And glide it across. Have this represent some grass in a way. I'm going to use the kneaded eraser again. And then let's see. Maybe add some. And maybe throw some crayon in here. Why not? Nah. I think that might be for PFX. That's more for PFX, really. Let's see. They don't really give a lot of substance to work, so we have to get a little creative here. Let's see. I know there's some foliage I can use. No, but it's dark. Alright. Oh, actually I could use that. Alright, let's do it then. So we throw in some maybe kind of lower it down a little bit. Move it into place. Here we go. And then what I want to do is create some highlights here with some of the white. I'm going to take... this is where we're going to go a little crazy here. Let's use some rough wash. Have it do some highlights in a way. I do need to be a little bit more liberal with it on this side. And be more conservative about on the left. Because I want to also be consistent with this floating island. What if we... Oh, okay. I think nobody minds a little bit of bluegrass. I'm gonna kinda, here's what I'm gonna do. Let me blend that in actually a little bit. Hello there. Hey Doge. Let's see. Throw the blender in here. Let's go a little hard on the things here. Still waiting for someone to say General Kenobi. Well, I've already said it, so there you go. Oh man, that actually was really genius. I'm quite surprised because the blue actually ended up being kind of a good way to darken the green in a way without having to use black. Let's see. I think I'm debating if I should put a tree over in here, but let me actually work on the water a little bit more. So I've been working on this. When did I start working on this? 8:09. So almost an hour. And man, I thought I would have no idea. This came out of pure, unadulterated nothingness. Kind of like Bob Ross would do. And I wanted to create a little... I want to kind of make a little have Bob Ross be a bit of an inspiration for this little thing, and right now it seems to be it's hitting right now, I would say. I'm gonna add a little more texture to this water though, real quick. Alright. I think we're getting a little too... I don't want to be actually a little too... Actually, I don't want to be a little too overkill with it, so... Let me do one more batch of blending real quick. Over here. Ooh, what happened here? Hello? Oh, never mind. This is part of the... Oh, yep, that will do it. I'm gonna keep it a buck. There's something about... I wouldn't say it's stress crunching in a way, but it this kind of in a pinch you're kind of this is a bit like stress crunching, except, you know, there's not, I wouldn't say there's a lot of stress involved. There's definitely a lot of other things that I've done over the last month that would be definitely considered a stress crunch. This really isn't one of them. Let's see here. Yeah, April's always like that. It's near the very end. It's like it's usually the end of the semester for most of these people, for most of us. and it's always like it's every year. It's always a race. Every year, it's always a race to the finish. It's like no matter what you do to prepare to not get to it, to get to that point, it's gonna come at you, and it will come at you really fucking fast. And also right when you least expect it. So yeah, April, just so it's that extra spineless. All right. Let's see. Let me carry over. Let me do a little. Let's actually have a little bit of fun with this. Let's take this dry goosh again. Actually, let me do actual goosh, or you know what, pointillism, and just kind of like that. And then I want to also, let me actually add a little. Wait, did I use the right one? I'm trying to remember. Let's see here. Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's see, what else? Actually, we should probably make the pointillism a little bit consistent here. This is pretty cool. I never thought you could actually do stuff with the mouse. Oh, so I have a confession to make. This is not my mouse. This is a drawing tablet that I'm using. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. 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 I've actually been using a drawing tablet ever since I started doing art, which was back in December 2017. And then I had this, so I would say I started with a little comic drawing tablet. And I used that until 2022, and then I got this used Pro tablet from 2013 that works pretty well. Both of them are Wacom, and I like this Pro tablet since there's a lot more space and there's a lot more buttons and there's a couple more controls, and the pen has an eraser end, so I can kind of work like an actual pencil. If I can do something. Let's see, for like so, I can do a little little da 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 da, and if I screw up, I can always erase it like that. All right. Okay. There's one other thing I want to do. I'm really tempted to put a few trees in here, just so it's a lot less barren. Let me see here. What are we thinking? Still wanna... What if we try... Should probably get one. I have an iPad Apple Pencil, but kind of sucked when I tried. Doge, it honestly depends on the software you use. It's some programs are built for very consistently, others you need like a little bit of actual retooling and by yourself in order to get it to work. I know, like, I've been a Clip Studio user for all my life, ever since I started using it. And I have kind of the same deal with when I got my new tablet. It came with Clip Studio, and with the S Pen, it looked like it worked like right out of the box with certain commands and certain other actions. But if you try loading stuff like other programs like Krita and all that, it's kind of limited in a way, but you have to kind of have the experience of working with a different program to do that. I kind of like the empty liminal vibe. And to be fair, I feel like that's almost like any Bob Ross painting. There's like cabins and all that kind of stuff. Very rarely has he made like actual cityscape. He seems to be more in line with nature in a way. Alright, let's see. So here's a tree here. We're gonna put some trees in here. And then let's see, where's his brother going to be? And we're gonna put it right over here, a little smaller. And we are gonna put some leaves on here, so. And maybe there's a tiny little baby tree here. It's just starting its long life. Right here. And here I think this is where I can get creative with what I wanted to do over here, this I might actually have a little bit more leeway. Something is just uncanny about it. Not sure what you mean by that. Actually, let me try. Do we have... Where was that foliage? Yeah, right here. Look at that. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Uncanny about using the Apple Pencil. I've never really used that, so I mean, I can't really say for sure. Of it. Let's see here. What do we want to do here? And then over in here, a little bark here. Then I think what I'm gonna do near the end, I'm gonna put some bushes over in here. Let's see, where is a good spot to put? What's a good brush that can put bushes in here? I remember there was a rough wash. What else can we use? There was one over in here. Ah, here we go. Yeah, this might do the trick. This will do the trick. Maybe not. Okay. And then maybe a little bit of some throw hints just for shading. Again, don't want to be too aggressive with it. And then blend that. And maybe once we get to that point, we can put a few flowers in here. Where's let's throw in some spray. Actually, let's save that to the end because we still need a little bit. We need some depth in here. Still lacking some of that depth. There we go. That's the depth I'm looking for. I am gonna have to re-hit this again with some of that. Where was that? Where was that thing again? Yeah, the brush here. No big deal. Alright, and then yeah, from here I'm just a matter of putting some flowers in here. I'm gonna put some whites in here. And then some yellows. And then some pinks. Maybe a more lighter pink. There we go. I am gonna do, while I'm at it, let's see, those are the trunks. Let's hit each trunk with some dry gouache. What do you call that thing? Gouache? Gouache? Gouache. The gouache is loose. The gouache is loose. Oh man. Yeah. I'm really liking this. I really like how this went. I think all I'm gonna do really is just add a little bit of PFX and then a watermark, and then yeah, I think we should be Good to go. Alright, this is where this Bob Ross effect is gonna break. Because normally he doesn't do necessarily a lot of post work afterwards, but there's these little things I would want to touch up on. I think the water can use a little bit more of this here. You're gonna put any foliage on the trees up on the floating rock. I think they're fine as they are. I was thinking about it at first, but I actually tried it earlier, but I realized it kind of clashed. That the only way I would need it is with white and yellow. I could actually try. Would be worth experimenting a little bit. Let me put this. Let me put some extra highlights in here first before I do that. Actually, I think yellow might go well with it. Now that I'm thinking about it. Alright, let me see if that will... Let me try this foliage again. Wait, let's bring this down by like several notches. Hello? Why? Oh, of course, because the particle size is like big. That actually works. The yellow actually works perfectly. What? Bro. I thought it would clash. No, it's, maybe it was just because I started out with pink foliage. No, the yellow actually helps it out a lot. And I think it may allow me to add just a touch of pink. Not a lot, but just a touch. Yeah, that actually works. What the hell? Sweet. I am probably gonna... Yeah. Let me at least put a little bit more over in here. I'll head out now, but you can show me what it looks like and finish. No problem. Thanks for reintroducing that foliage thought process, Doge. No problem, dude. Alright, that sounds cool. I think now I think about it, let me add a little bit of white in here. Oop, nope, no, that's not good. That's probably better. Let me put a 75 in here. Alright, then the only thing left, what I'm going to do at the very end, I'm going to add some canvas. See, I'm going to throw some emphasizing texture. I'm going to put it on, where's canvas 2? We're going to have this feel like it was drawn on a canvas. Just like so. A little bit of overlay here. Kind of lights it up in a way I was not expecting, but no biggie. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call that done. I'm surprised that I was able to finish that really fast. Oh wait, there was one other thing actually. God damn it. See what I mean? It's not necessary. Just because it's done doesn't mean it's not. Okay. I want to add some rocks actually real quick. Let me add some rocks real quick. Let's see. Just so we have that suspension of disbelief. We throw a little extra in here. Yeah, alright. I think I'm done. Maybe one more rock. Just one more rock. And then we can call this done. I've only been working this for... Let's see. Maybe one kind of occluding the water in a way. Alright, yeah. I'm gonna call that done. Nice. That took me... I'm so glad I actually got that done. And I'm surprised I just thought about that on the fly. I really wish I could do more like this. More of this. Some of this on the fly kind of background design. Because as I said before, there's certain things I take way too long to do sometimes. And it does... I wouldn't say it's annoying, but it's definitely... doing stuff like this, it makes you think. Let's see, ended at 9, I called it 9:44 p.m. So, and surprisingly, I didn't do that many layers. Like what? I'm gonna actually group these. Let me group these into folders real quick. So let's see, if this was the sky, the rocks, so floating island, and then the cliffside. Is this, and then PFX, I'm amazed that I made something with, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4. My God, it's gonna be under 30, maybe 20. 2, 4, 6, 15, 18, 19, 22. Holy crap. 22 layers. It only took to make this. Man. I'm curious. I don't know how I'm going to think about this when I do end up getting this done. What? Okay. I think I'm gonna add the watermark off stream. But yeah, this is it. This is my entry for SproutFight 2025. I'm used literally nothing but I literally didn't use any of the prompts. I thought I would, but I realized I can only make one. And then I used just Forget Me Not and the Lotus Flower palettes. And I don't know why my phone's hitting up. Alright, whatever. But anyway, yeah. I'll enter this tonight. Upload it to Newgrounds later. I'll probably embed this stream just so people will see it. And yeah. I really wish I could do I really want to do more of these, as a matter of fact. Just something I can, think about, not think about for a few hours. Alright. Hopefully by the end of this week, this senior year from batshit insanity should be all done. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Alright, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna get back to work. Talk to y'all soon.